Okay, this is lesson 26, using the game design process, platform jumper. The game on the left is an example of a platform jumper. Press run to play it. You can make the alien jump with the up arrow and move it to the left and right with the arrow keys. You score it by collecting stars, and if you score high enough, the background will change. You already know how to use all the blocks you need to make a game just like this one, and you'll be making your own platform jumper in this lesson. Okay, so let's move on. So if you think way back to the beginning of the school year, we learned this problem-solving process. Define. The problem is clearly defined for this game because you already looked at a sample version. However, you might want to make some changes. Make sure any new features for your game are clearly defined. Prepare. Before you start to code, you will need to fill out a project guide, which is right here. So be sure you have this open. Try. You'll try out your plan when you start coding. Don't forget all of your resources, such as the documentation and help and tip tab. Reflect. After finishing your project, you'll want to reflect on whether your game turned out how you planned and ways you could improve your process for the next time. Okay, so let's create our, or let's plan our project ahead of time. So basically you want to do something just like what we saw for the platform game, but you can change the characters, change the background. So I'll say with a yellow background, a person will jump from platform to platform collecting, what will they collect? Snacks. They have reached, let's say 10 snacks. The character will get bigger. At 20 snacks, they will get bigger again. And the background will change. Okay, so these platform games are pretty simple, so you don't need to describe too much. And you don't need to draw the game if you don't want to, but that's okay if you do want to. Sprites and variables. I think the sprites will be person, snacks, platforms, person, falling downward, so everything's falling downward here. Okay, so the interactions move using left, right, and up keys. Okay, so the snacks and platforms just reset when they go off the bottom of the screen. And that's it. And functions, there's going to be a lot of functions. Variables, just score. Each snack collected makes score increase. Resetting snacks, reset platform, maybe game over, move player, And for the rest of these functions, you might want to go back to lesson 25 and check out the ones we used there. But let's move on. First, we're going to create the background. The sample game had 2 different backgrounds that were chosen according to the user's score. The first background has already been created for you. Look at the background 1 function in the code below to see how it works. I'm going to click show me where. Okay, cool. So basically we can copy this and paste it into background 2. You will need to fill that function or that with new code. Yeah, okay. Read the code for background 1, fill background 2 with new code for a second background, test your background 2 by calling it inside the draw loop. So all I'm going to do, let's see, okay, that's the background. All I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that and paste it into background 2. Let's make the colors a little funky. Alright, and let's see what this is doing. To test this, all we're going to do is change that background 1 to background 2. Okay. So yeah, it looks a little funky. Okay, it's much easier to copy and paste. Cool, we're done. Exercise 4. Okay, score variable. Now that you've created your backgrounds, you'll need to choose when each background is drawn. For that, you'll need a score variable to hold information about your player's score. You should always give your variables a starting value at the very beginning of the program. That way they are available for any code that comes after. Do this. Create a score variable at the beginning of your game program. Show me the block. Right here. And set the score equal to 0. Look, at the beginning of your program, that means the top. So I'm going to name it score. And as it says here, I'm going to set it equal to 0. And that's all we need for exercise 5. So I guess I got to click run and then finish. Choosing your background. Now that you have your score variable, you can use it to choose the right background for your game. You can see an example of changing your background according to your score in lesson 24, level 10. So this is what I tell you to do often, is to go back into previous lessons to look for examples of what you've done. Okay, so hopefully I didn't reset my progress here. And this might take a minute, but man, I made this a lot harder than it needed to be. Okay, but when I get to a certain score, the background changes. And let's see how I did that. Oh, right. So I made 2 different types of functions. One is simple, and the background is red, and one is silly, and the background is yellow. So what we did is, if score is greater than 9, we make the silly background. If it's less than 9, we have the simple red background. So once I get to 9, the background changes to yellow. Okay, so we can keep this tab open so we have an example. Inside the draw loop, use an if statement and your 2 background functions. Okay, so we're doing exactly what we did there. Why don't I just copy and paste the code? So I'm taking this if-else statement. I copied it, go in the draw loop, and draw the background and put it here. But we got to delete these. Greater than 9, yeah, so we want. Alright. And so take a second, if you for some reason can't copy and paste from lesson 24, just pause the video and take a second and put these blocks in, okay? This should not prevent you from completing the lesson if you don't have lesson 24 to refer to. You just need to find these blocks and put them in. Okay, inside the draw loop, we did that. Test your code by changing the start score to 100. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, so now we have background 1. Oh, okay, we have background 2 showing, but if we change the score to 100, background 1 should be showing. And yes, okay, so that worked. If you have a third background, you can click the plus sign. If you want to do a third background, feel free to do that. Exercise 7, make the scoreboard. You'll also need a scoreboard so the player can keep track of the score. There's already a show score function written, but it only shows the text score and not the actual score. Show me where. Yeah, I do want to see that. Okay, right, so they only have the text there. You can see an example of a working scoreboard in lesson 24, level 10. So again, okay, so yeah, what they did was this block right here, text score in quotations plus score in no quotations. When it's not in quotations, they're referencing the variable. But when it's in quotations, it's just text. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So I'm gonna copy this. I think I'm gonna copy that. And I think I'm just gonna replace this block with that. But this positioning looks a little different. I don't know. We'll see. Read the code in the show score function. Call the function inside the draw loop. Okay. Alright, let's make our workspace bigger. So we got to go in the draw loop, and they want us to call the show score function. And then something should show up. Okay, it does. So now I have this block copied. So I'm actually just going to delete this and paste this. And I think this should work. Okay, yeah, it worked. Alright, so I think we're done with this exercise. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now that you have your background and your variables, it's time to create your sprites. Usually it will be easiest to start with the sprites that are part of the environment, such as your platforms. The sample game had 2 platform sprites, but you'll make just one first. Then test it before copying and pasting the code to make the second. Okay. Look at your worksheet and choose a platform sprite to create. Well, I just said platforms in my worksheet, so I don't know. We'll decide. In the Create Sprites area at the top of your code, create your new sprite with the Create Sprite block. Okay, giving it the correct position and label name. Okay, so the Create Sprite blocks are this variable sprite Create Sprite block and set animation. And we'll just call it platform. Platform, and then we have to go to okay, first we need to get the animation. Okay, so they have a platform for us already. Why don't we just use these animations for now, and then maybe we can worry about changing them in the future. So platform, it says use velocity Y block to give your sprite the correct downward velocity. So let's see. I think we want it positive to move down, so let's test this. Yeah, Okay, and I like that speed too. So that's it for this exercise. Now we are looping the platform sprite. Right now your platform sprite moves down, but it doesn't loop back up to the top of the screen. You can look at lesson 20, level 6 to see an example of a sprite looping around a screen. So we'll probably copy and paste this. Okay, alright, so the mushroom loops. So let's see. This is not the code for that. Looping right here. Okay, we're going to need to... Okay, honestly, I don't like the way that's written in here, so I'm just going to do it myself. Use the function block to create a loop platforms function at the bottom of your code. Okay. Let me exit out of this in case it slows my browser down. Alright, so they want us to create a function called loop platforms. Use the if block. So go grab an if block inside the function to check whether the platform has gone off the bottom of the screen. So I think that's y. If y is greater than 400, if platform dot y is greater than 400, and then we're just gonna reset platform dot y to 0. Call the function inside the draw loop in the update sprites area. Alright, here's our draw loop. There's the update sprites area. So let's call this, what was it? Loop platforms. So now it should go to the top. Yes, it does. Excellent. So hint, what will platform Y be? Yeah, so I think we already got this. Alright, we're good. Make your second platform. Making a second platform will be easier than making the first because you can copy and paste a lot of the code, then make a few small changes. This is a lot easier in text mode, so be sure to try it out if you haven't already. You'll need to copy two parts of your code, the part at the beginning where you made the platform, and the part in your loop platforms function where you loop the platform back to the top of the screen. Okay. Alright, I think I know what to do without reading all these directions. So we want to highlight this and paste it, and let's add a 1 to these so it's not confusing where it's like platform and platform 2. Instead, we're going to make it platform 1 and platform 2. Okay, and down we need to go to the loop platforms. Oh, and we're going to need to add 1 to these. Okay, and now this is what the second thing we're going to need to copy and paste. And this time add a 2 to the end. And that should be it, but I'm thinking about it now and we need to reposition this one. So let's make this one, we'll make this one y equal to 100 and this one y equal to 300. Oh, okay. I was thinking about x, so let's do x as well. $100, $100, $300, $300. Okay, yeah, this looks good. Let's make sure that this is all we needed to do. You can make your platforms appear at a random x position when they loop back at the top of the screen. That makes sense. Change your sprite name in the new lines of code. That makes sense. We'll do that. Maybe we'll do that at the end. Okay, create an item. Next, you need to add the items that fall from the top of the screen. These move just like the platforms, but faster. In order to make the game more interesting, the items start at a random location above the screen. For the sample game, the item's X position is a random number between 50 and 350, and the Y position is a random number between -30 and -60. Okay, so we're just going to use those same numbers. Okay, so first we need to create a sprite. So let's do that. Set animation. And I guess we can call it item. And in the animations, this would be the star. And okay, so they're saying that the X position is a random number. This is the starting X position. Random number between 50 and 350. And then the Y is a random number between -30 and -60. So this is the starting Y number. And now we need a velocity Y block. So that's in the Sprites toolbox. And they said that they want this to fall faster than the platforms. So the platforms fell at 5, velocity 5, so we'll make this 10. And there's a star. Okay, and now probably next level we're probably going to need to loop it. Okay, yes, we need to loop this. So create a loop items function that uses an if block. Okay, so let's go down to the functions. And okay, it's going to be very similar to loop platform, so I'm about to copy this, paste it, and we're going to change the name. We're only going to need one if block. I'm going to name this loop items instead, loop items, and we'll name this item. And I think this is good, but the thing is that our Y, let's see how this goes. Oh wait, I didn't call the function. Alright, let's call the function inside our draw loop, and then let's see if this works. Okay, it is looping, but it's not starting at a random X position. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh, I can't do that. So, all right, X, random number 50 to 350, okay. But I think starting it at Y0 is okay. Alright, so now it falls, it should start at a random X position. Yeah, okay. So we're good. Yep. Okay, so this is make your second item. I didn't realize we would be doing that. So let's add a 1 to our first item. And we're going to copy this code, paste it right below, and then we will change the 1 to a 2. And then let's go to the bottom of our code to the loop items function. Rename these item 1. And then we will copy this entire if statement, paste it right below inside the function, and we're just going to name these item 2. Let's see. Okay, cool. This is working. All right. Create your player. Now you can create your player sprite. Just like the item sprites, the player sprite will fall from the top of the screen. Unlike the items, your player sprite will get faster as it falls, just like real falling objects. This is what allows it to jump up and fall back down. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna let's copy this item sprite. Everything, a few things are going to be different though. All right, so we have item. Let's call it player, and we don't want a random number. What X position do we want it at? We can put it at 200X. That's the middle of the screen. The Y value we want is 0. That's the top of the screen. We name it player, set the animation to alien, and here I think we're going to want a counter pattern. So player.velocity_y equals player.velocity_y. Go to text mode, and right here, line 7, plus 1, I guess. Let's do that and see how it goes. Now, create a player fall. I didn't see this. Player fall function that makes the sprite fall from the top of the screen. The code inside the function should use velocity y in a counter pattern, just as when you made the falling rock. So we did do a counter pattern up here. Call the player fall call function. Okay, so this actually might be. We're going to need to put this inside the player fall function. So we'll just create that function, and then we'll borrow the code from up top. Player fall. I cut that. Control X. I did not copy it. Now I paste it and call the player fall function inside the draw loop. Let's make our workspace bigger. Okay, there's the draw loop. Okay, yeah, looks like we did it right. Okay. Cool. Next, you should add user controls so that you can move your player around. Your player needs to move to the left when the left arrow is pressed, right when the right arrow is pressed, and jump when the space bar is pressed. So we're using the space bar. Okay. Create a new control player function in the functions area of your code. Let's make the workspace bigger, and I scroll to the bottom. What did they want us to call it? Control player. Okay. Control player. Okay. And now inside the control player function, use the if, key down, and sprite blocks to make your player move to the left and right according to the arrow keys. So hopefully this lesson 15 level 7, hopefully we can just copy and paste everything. Okay, so all we want is left and right from here. I guess we'll take it all and we'll delete down, and we'll change the up to a spacebar. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So follow along. We're going to copy all 4 of these if statements. Control C, and now control player. We're going to paste these, and this is up, but we are going to change it to space, and we don't need a down control, so let's just delete this if statement. And now we have right and left, and these are good as is. We just need to change these sprites to player, from flyer to player. Okay. Okay, velocity Y. So now they're saying for the space bar, we need velocity Y blocks. Okay, let's see what they did in lesson 20, level 5. Let's X out of these tabs. Okay. Right, the frog. Okay. Let's find the control. Okay, so we got this block on line 48. Well, this is my line 48. Frog dot velocity Y is -5, so we're going to add that to this. So we might be taking away this one. I'm pretty sure that's what they want us to do. And we might need to increase that velocity. We just made it -20. Oh, it's frog. That's why it's not working. So I didn't change that. So be sure to change that. Now it might be too much. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, I didn't, you know what? I didn't call the control player function inside the draw loop. That's the last step. Okay. Control player, and now it should work. Okay, so 20 is probably too much. Yeah. We'll change it to -10. Even -10 seems like it's a bit much, but we'll keep it like that. Player interactions. The last part of making your game is programming the player interactions with other sprites. First, your player needs to land on the platforms. Do this. Create a player lands function and add it to the functions area of your code. Okay. Player lands. That's the name of the function we're creating. This is a very long lesson, but it's very good. Player lands. Okay. Inside the function, use the collide block so that your player can land on both the platforms. Call the function inside your draw loop. Okay, so collide, so it's like player collide platform 1, player collide platform 2. Okay, great. and then we have to call it inside the draw loop. Okay. Player lands, is that what it's called? Player lands. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if that works. Yep. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, collect items. Last, you'll want your player to collect the items falling from the top of the screen. Okay, do this, create a collect items function. We're going to do that at the bottom of our code. In case you haven't noticed, I like to put these at the bottom of my code, these functions, collect items. Use the if and is touching blocks to change the X and Y position of the items when the player touches them. You can look at the loop item function for clues in how to reset the item position. Okay. If and is touching. Okay. Alright, so let's grab an if block. Let's grab an is touching block. Player is touching item. Do we have two items? We do, don't we? Yeah. So make this item 1, and then we'll copy this and paste it inside the function. Okay, so now what? To change the X and Y position, it says look at loop item for clues in how to reset the item position. Okay. Okay. So we're just gonna do this. Copy one of those, and we'll paste them in here. Oh, whoops. Control Z to undo that. Alright, Control V. Control V. Okay. Okay, yeah. And then I think we're just going to increase the score. Inside your if statement, add a counter pattern that will increase the score every time the player touches an item. Yup. That's it. And then that's the end. Call the function. Okay, and then we have to call the function. Okay, so this is actually really easy, guys. You just go into variables, grab the assign a variable block, type in score equals score plus 1. And now let's copy that and paste it here. And now we have to call collect items in the draw loop. Go to functions, use the call a function block collect items. And now, okay, cool. Okay, wait, no, it didn't reset though. Something strange is going on. Maybe not. See how the stars are like dancing at the top? I don't know why that could be. See that? I don't know what's going on there. Huh. Let me pause the video and see if... Okay, so here's the problem. I didn't change these to item 2. So that's why I was acting all funky. And now it should be regular. Whoops. Yeah, I don't see any bugs now. Okay, great. Okay, so exercise 18, you're just making sure your game works as it should. Here's one thing I see. We don't want the score to be 100 to start. So now we have this background. So let's move on. Alright, exercise 19 is just trying to give you ideas of how to make your game better. So here they have clouds, they have coins. I don't know what the clouds do. Okay, so the clouds are your points and the coins give you lives. So this is just to give you some ideas. And look, the background changed. Just to give you ideas. Same thing with exercise 20, it's just giving you ideas. So these carrots are being displaced, it looks like, by the platforms. This bunny jumps way too high though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what. I think maybe hitting the cloud decreases your lives. Or maybe hitting the sun. So, yep, these are just giving you ideas. Okay guys, here's the deal with the challenges. Animation change direction, you should know how to do that from lesson 25. So I'd like for you to do that. Adding lives, I would think that we would need to add a new item before adding lives, because how would your lives go down? So let's go ahead and do new item. Okay, so different kind of item. You can add a different type of item for the player to collect or avoid. I say we do avoid, so that way we can add in lives. Do this, draw or find a new animation. So scroll down here, click add. Let's do like, hopefully we could do like a ship or something. So you don't want to get hit by the ship. Here, boom. That looks like an alien ship right there. This works. Blimp. No. Let's do this. Enemy. We'll just call it enemy. Alright. And now we're going to need to... Let's copy the code for player. Paste. We'll name it enemy. Enemy. And set the animation to enemy. And what code from up here will we need to use? Well, I'm not sure if we want these random numbers. No, I think we want like an X velocity, to be honest. And it'll start at a random, yeah. Let's start it at 0x. And it'll start at a random y value. Between 0 and 400. And we're going to give it positive x velocity. So the whole idea behind this is to make it move from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen. Okay. Draw a font, create a new sprite with the animation. Should start in a randomized location, adjust the item's velocity, program a new interaction inside the collect items function. Okay, great. So we can just go down to the collect items. Collect items. Okay, now if player is touching, I'm going to copy that, and we're going to say if player is touching enemy, enemy, change this to enemy, and I think, what did we say? X is going to equal 0, and this is going to be a random number. And you know what? I think 5350 is more appropriate. And let's just make it, instead of, yeah, we'll do a negative score as well. -5. And I'm going to go back to the top. I'm going to go back to the top where I created the code for enemy, and I'm going to change it so that the random value for y is actually not 0 to 400, but 50 to 350. And I think if we run it, the enemy should, yeah, the enemy's in there. This enemy is too big. So let's scale that down. Let's say 0.5. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay. What else do we need to do? Okay, that's it for that. But now let's go and let's create lives. Okay, adding lives. Okay, this should be pretty easy. All we're going to do is create a variable called lives, okay? And we're going to put it right beneath score. And we're going to set it equal to, let's say 5. Yeah, let's say 5. Okay, so we did that. Draw text to the screen to show the label lives and the value of lives. So we'll go down, we'll find the score text that we were using. Okay, show score. And you know what, I'm not going to change this function. I think I'm just going to keep it inside show score. And this time it's going to say, this is the text. So this is going to say lives. And then we're going to show lives. And here's the thing, they're going to be overlapping. So we want the X position, because score is in the top left. We want the Y, we want the X position to be over here. Let's call it 300. And this is the parameter for X. So let's see how this looks. Yep, lives is right there. Okay. So now what we want to do, it says check for the player's Y position to be off the screen and subtract 1 from the score if it goes off the screen. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we are going to, when the ship hits, the enemy hits him, that's when we're going to subtract the lives. So if player is touching enemy, find that if statement that we just created, and you're just going to put in, not only will it decrease the score, but it's also going to decrease the lives. Lives equals lives minus 1. Okay, and now let's reset it and let's see if that works. Yes. It worked. Alright, let's see. I just want to double check. Oh, we never reset the ship. Okay, so if the ship gets to the other side, we need to reset it. Alright, let's see. Loop items, we need to find that. Loop items. Okay. So we'll copy this. And we just got to change this to enemy. Pay attention, because there's one thing we need to change up. Enemy. And we want this random number to be here. We want X to be 0. And we want this enemy.x greater than 400. And then I think that's all we need to loop it. So alright, so that worked. Yep, okay, it's working now. Alright. Okay, so the last one I want you to do is side walls, okay? Okay, so it looks like this year they made it easier for us. The special command create edge sprites creates 4 large sprites around the border of the screen hidden just out of view. After creating these sprites, you can program your other sprites to collide with them. This is an easy way to keep things from moving off the screen. Yeah, okay. It used to be very difficult to do this. Okay, do this. Use the create edge sprites command in the main part of your program where you create your other sprites. Okay, so that means right here, I guess that's in Sprites, create edge sprites. I don't see it. Let me pause the video till I find it. Okay guys, so they don't have this block in here. So all I did was I went to text mode and I just typed it in how it appears in the instructions, create, and then it gives you the option create edge sprites. And I don't know if you need this semicolon here, but put that there just in case. And now, okay, and now it says create a new function called sidewalls. Okay, so scroll down and let's name it sidewalls. Whoops, I didn't capitalize the W. Let's do that. Alright, so it says this should make the player collide with the special hidden sprite named left edge and right edge. Okay, so we need 2 collide blocks. Okay, so player left edge, player right edge. Okay, call the sidewalls function somewhere inside your draw loop. Okay, cool, so we're done with that. Just need to call it inside the draw loop. Okay, draw loop. Okay, there's the draw loop, and we gotta call it. Okay, side walls. Okay, let's see if this works. Yeah, looks like it. Okay, cool. And this also makes the game a little more difficult. But also this makes it so that you probably should make it that once the player falls off the screen, it's game over or something like that. Yeah. Okay. I wonder if there's like a bottom edge and a top edge. Okay, so that's all I'm requiring for this lesson, but if you want to do this one, I think you should, and it's not a bad idea to add new animations.